My audience. Today I'm going to be arguing that political correctness is harmful. By harmful, I mean that it increases offendedness rather than decreases it. According to Washington Post, the University of New Hampshire released a document called the Bias-Free Language Guide, which listed offensive terms with phrases that should be used instead of goals. Instead, the goal of this document was to help reduce the number of students who were not happy with how they were described. For example, one student was described as obese, and instead of saying obese, the guide states that you should use a person of size. And replacing simple words with phrases such as these creates a confusion and causes to be more offended. Rather than describing one or possibly offending one person, the speaker is now offending or including all people because we are all people of size. My syllogism. Major. To be harmful is to increase offendedness rather than decrease it. Minor. Using more terms to describe a one-word characteristic creates more offendedness. Conclusion. Political correctness is harmful. According to New York Times, Bill Maher talks about the left having one true opinion, like religions believing they are one true religion. If they believe they have the one correct opinion, everyone who believes anything else is incorrect or could have the potential to offend anyone on the other side. When asked about comedians and their careers, he states that politically correct people are not concerned about social justice. Since these people are not concerned with social justice, that leaves the door open for many people to be offended on a deeper level rather than just the term being used. My syllogism. Major. To be harmful is to increase offendedness rather than decrease it. Minor. Social justice is an important factor in society. If people are stepping over feelings and others, then social justice will not happen, causing a greater amount of people to be offended. Conclusion. Political correctness is harmful. According to PBS.org, politically correctness is counter-effective. Ann D. Neal explains that enforcing political correctness in high school and college does the opposite of what counselors want it to do. Forcing students to talk in such a way that learning becomes more confusing because the terms they are considered politically correct are extremely vague. Ms. Neal was a professor and practiced law with a degree from Harvard Law School. She was a well-educated woman who believes that being politically correct has no use in today's society. People are more likely to become offended by people who have less education. My syllogism. Major. To be harmful is to increase offendedness rather than decrease it. Minor. Increasing educated students on being politically correct is not good because it creates more room for confusion, thus making room for more people to be offended. Conclusion. Politically correctness is harmful. According to BBC.com, politically correctness is possibly a threat to free speech and individuality. Nick Cave explains the ideas of cancel culture and how this affects everyone in society. Cancel culture is the action of backlash against a firm or company or a person due to something they said or did. This way of thinking or acting has a bad effect on how people act with new or uncomfortable ideas. Cancel culture is causing the creative soul of society to be dampened. Constantly worrying about being canceled, causing the creative spirit of the world to be put down. People are no longer trying as many new things or ideas that they can think of. Since people are constantly stepping over the words and phrases they cannot say, free speech is being taken away from them. People can no longer speak how they wish to speak or use their own creativity with their words. My syllogism. Major. To be harmful is to increase offendedness rather than decrease it. Minor. Cancel culture deprives society of the creativity which negatively affects everyone in society. This is harmful to everyone because it offends people on both sides of the spectrum. Conclusion. Political correctness is harmful. Arguments. My opponent might say that politically correctness is a sign of good manners. This is absurd according to Washington Post. Instead of using one term to effectively describe a person by the terms of politically correctness, one must use a lengthy, more vague phrase to describe a person having the potential to offend a broader amount of people. My opponent might say that social justice is people having the my opponent might say that educating students with politically correct terms creates less room for confusion because there are more ways to describe something that is normally offensive. This is absurd because having more ways to describe something vaguely does not decrease the confusion. Students receive the same message in different ways rather than a term that is straight to the point. My opponent might say that cancel culture is a good thing because it keeps society in check. This is absurd because the cancel culture is a threat to speech. Cancel culture pushes people away from saying things they wish, depriving them of their free speech. My opponent might say that politically correctness in the workplace avoids arguments between coworkers. This is absurd because although they are never seen fights or bickering while in the workplace, there is tension, and this tension is built up over time, which will create arguments and more problems in the future. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you need to think to yourself, am I speaking the truth or am I thinking an extended version of what I really want to say? I will stand against political correctness. I will not risk offending multitudes of people and losing my right to free speech to please society. No one can be completely correct and have their basic rights at the same time. Thank you.